a brand new episode of Coming Distractions brought to you by the Nerdpocalypse podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
And Terrence.
What's up?
All right, guys. This time we're going to talk about Invisible Man. This is the new film written and directed by Leigh Whannell, who did a lot of co-writing on a number of horror movies in the past. With James Wan, he did Saw, Dead Silence, Insidious Chapter 2. And he's also directed Insidious Chapter 3, Upgrade, and now The Invisible Man.
Oh, he did Upgrade?
Yep. I didn't know that until I just read it.
Wait, what? He directed Upgrade?
Yeah.
And wrote it.
Yeah. So this one is starring Elisabeth Moss, who folks know from The Handmaid's Tale probably the most. This is a sort of modern take on the classic H.G. Wells story. I happened to see this. You guys haven't, but I had you on because I think you both would really enjoy it. So no spoilers for this review, but the basic premise is this woman is in a relationship with this guy who's like super wealthy, and he's also a brilliant scientist, right? He deals with like vision, something with vision or what have you. He's like a really good ophthalmologist or something. I don't know, but the whole premise is that he is this abusive, controlling guy. And the movie just starts out with her like escaping his house. Like that's how it starts. And you're just like, oh shit. Like it just starts at an 11, right? And you come to find out, and this is all in the trailer, you come to find out that he kills himself. And because they broke up, right? And so he kills himself, and she was freaking out, and she goes and stays with a friend of hers, Aldis Hodge, and his daughter, played by Reid. And she finds out through her sister that this guy killed himself. And so she's like relieved. And, but then these like circumstances started happening. And she's like, look, I don't know how this guy is still alive or whatever, but this dude is alive and he's invisible, which makes her sound like a lunatic to all of her friends, and her sister included. What's interesting about the movie is they do a good job of like keeping the budget low, right? It's a $7 million budget. So they just like, they don't predator affect him or anything like that.
He's just not there.
He's just not there. She's just her in a room. But they do things like the imprint of a seat and stuff like that, which is creepy. Like it makes for some pretty creepy things. I'll just say that this is better than Hollow Man. I know that's hard to believe as a Invisible Man movie.
Is it?
Is it better than Hollow Man? Yes. But it's good. Like the acting is good. The violence is good. They do a good job of giving an interesting explanation of how he's invisible versus like, I took invisibility juice and now I'm invisible, right? Like it's not that. So, it's definitely a modern take.
This sounds nothing like the Ralph Ellison novel.
No, it isn't. No, very different.
Elisabeth Moss. What is she in besides The Handmaid's Tale? Because I can't. I don't know if she's a good actress.
I don't know what she's been in. I've never seen The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, she's been in a number of things. Girl Interrupted. Us.
Oh,
remember
she was the wife.
Yeah, she was the wife in Us. Remember the white couple? She's not Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh, Us. Okay. All right. Yeah. For some reason, I was thinking this is Us. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, no.
What? That doesn't make any sense.
She was also in The Kitchen, which I didn't see.
Yeah, that was apparently terrible.
Yeah.
So this movie, is it bloody? I like blood. Is it bloody?
Yeah, there's a couple of pretty bloody scenes.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's not as violent as like, it's not a super slasher film by any means, but there's a couple moments where you're like, oh, all right, that's what we're doing. Like,
so it's just a lot of, it's more tense than it is.
It's more of a thriller than a horror movie.
Okay.
By far.
So by it not being that violent, does it kind of drive the violence home when it happens?
Yeah, there's a couple of scenes. Like there's a scene later on that takes place with like a number of cops, and they don't obviously know someone is there. And it's brutal. Like
you piqued my interest.
Yeah, right. Like it's pretty brutal.
Magneto turning all them guns on them cops in that X-Men movie.
Better than that. Better than that. So like those scenes are pretty good. It has a very, very satisfying ending. I will say that. Like it makes
satisfying in like a Brightburn kind of way?
Not exactly, but maybe.
Okay.
Yes, no, maybe. Shut up. It's kind of like that. I'll tell you offline. But it's a fun ride. Again, it's a $7 million budget, so they keep it like real tight. It's
Blumhouse. They know how to make good movies with no money.
I think they got a hit on their hands,
and a lot of that is
so much fucking money.
And a lot of that has to be storytelling, right? Like because you don't have a crutch of a bunch of computer effects to.
There's very little
distract you.
Yeah,
right?
there's a couple. There's some at the end, but it's very little. They just do such a good job. Like the music plays a really big part in this because she'll be standing in a room that she thinks he's in, and she's like talking to him, like, fuck you kind of thing. And the music is just like really intense and like just really swelling in some parts. And there's a lot of just incredibly suspenseful moments where they feel really uncomfortable, like, oh, don't walk around that corner. And they also do a good job of shooting scenes from his perspective, which is creepy as shit. Like, she's like in the kitchen doing something, and then, like, you kind of see this perspective of like somebody clearly like walking just past the doorway, like looking at her, and then kind of going back and doing something else. Yeah, like there's a couple moments like that. I'm like, I don't like any of this. Like, it feels uncomfortable, and then shit just pops off and it gets going. So it's good. And I also like that they don't wait super long for her to figure out that this guy is invisible. Right? They're not like, what's happening? I don't know. No, she's like, no, none of this is correct. All this shit is fucked up. And they do it, the way they reveal it is good. And they also do a good job of making everyone around her think she's crazy. Because there's a couple of scenes where she's like,
that's not very hard to do.
Right. But like, there's a couple of scenes where she's like, he's invisible. And like the audience was like, like, because you sound crazy, even though we know, this nigga's invisible, but you sound crazy. You sound absolutely nuts.
He said he killed himself, but comes back invisible. And he was an ophthalmologist.
Right. So, again,
I'm not watching.
I kind of get it. He fakes his death. He drinks that, invisible hocus pocus potion, or he wears a cloak of invisibility.
Right, I was about to say he created some kind of weird cloak since he's an ophthalmologist.
He's got the Harry Potter cloak.
He's got some stupid shit that the goddamn car from Die Another Day or whatever. Stupid ass.
Sure, why not? That would be something.
Is the invisible? All right, this might be a spoiler, but you said he killed himself, right? And then he
that's
came
what
back
she was
invisible.
told. Yes. Again, that's in the trailer. Like,
is he actually Tupac?
Shut up.
He's the guy who's been killing all the rappers who are now on an island that he's posing as. Yes.
Okay.
That's who he is.
Everyone says
I want to see it. So
everyone says this movie is really good.
Yeah, it's fun.
I really wanted to see this. So, is this last question for me? This is a part of the dark universe, right?
Yes. Well, technically, no. This one isn't. But
this one isn't?
you're saying based on the original like dark universe stuff, yes.
Okay, but it's not. Because it's not a Paramount picture.
Yeah, this is not a Universal one.
Oh, okay. See,
they should. Here's what I will say: they really should have given Blumhouse Productions. Blumhouse Studios. They should have given them the reins to do this. If I was Universal, I would have been like, "We'll give you more money.
We'll give you $15 million to make 3 movies."
Right? He's like, "Yo, I got $14 million left over here. You can take it back." But they should have let them do it because this is a clever version of this story. It's a very clever version. So,
yeah, and with a smaller budget, you got to be creative.
Yeah,
unless you just want your movie to be garbage.
Yeah, and it's
like a Tyler Perry film,
right? But it's heavily based on like the freakiness of it. Like that drives the story, and it does it really well. All right, that's it for this review for The Invisible Man, and we will see you guys next time.
See you.
Take it easy.
Bye. You're watching the Nerdpocalypse YouTube channel. Make sure you click that button to subscribe and check out our weekly podcast where we talk about movie, TV, news, tech, and weird stories from around the internet.